Hello there. Hope everybody can hear me. The chat is on, so we can all communicate through the chat. All the questions, you can drop it in chat instead of QA, so I can just look at one place. Welcome, everyone. I see plenty of new faces. Welcome, everyone. Some of you might be new to Outranking. Some of you are experts. Welcome, everyone. And we will get started in just about a couple of minutes. So would love to learn a little bit more about where you are in the Outranking journey, what you need help with, what you want to see demonstration of, anything, absolutely. Just drop it in the chat so I have a complete idea as to where everyone is and what they need help with, and I can focus there. Good morning, Rob. Hey, Eddie, we'll go over strategist as well. Amazing, a few people for strategist. Title outlines to rank higher. Okay, all right. So what we will do is we will go through, let's quickly go through strategist, and there are more updates to strategist that we will be releasing over the weekend or maybe early next week. So I will exclude some of those parts, but I will cover strategist, how to get set up, how to do clustering, how to add keywords and stuff to your inventory, and then how to start executing them. And we will go over executing one, where we go through the title, outline, and optimize it. Does that sound good? Does that sound good? All right, we have a few more people joining in. Sounds good. All right. So let me start by sharing my screen. Oh, thank you. Those are actually gifted by my wife. All right, let's share the screen. Okay, all right. So I'm going to go through first thing first. Let's go over, let me just close away some distractions. All right. So let's go to strategist. Now, how do you set up strategist, right? If you click on add new domain, right now we're only asking for sitemap or domain name. If you add sitemap, then we have some of the data that we already need in order to suggest some of the other things on your website. So you don't need to re-enter the sitemap in the settings. That's always helpful. We don't have Google Search Console connection over here. We still want to get you started as fast as possible. So we'll fetch the data that we can at the moment, and then allow you to connect through Google Search Console from inside. So you can see if I click on a domain, I can click on connect Google Search Console. Once you connect it, then every time you refresh the data or we go get new data, we will get it from the Search Console. Until then, we'll use an API to fetch that data and show something so you can get started. Okay, now let's say you have added, and I'm going to go back to Outranking. Okay, so let's say you have added your sitemap, and we've started collecting data. Google Search Console is set up and everything. You will see this ranking distribution chart, which kind of tells you how many positions you are in. 1 to 3 kind of tells you 4 to 10, 11 to 20, right? Like, and so forth and so on. So what you can do now is like, what do I really do with this, right? Like you ideally have a lot of keywords in 10 to 10 to 25 positions, like this right here. And this is what I would consider as the keywords that, well, this is not exact science, right? Like, so it's not evaluated. This is based on my experience. But this set of keywords over here are the ones which, there's two kinds of keywords over there. One, either too difficult for you to rank for, so you're ranking for some long tail keywords in the same using the same article, but you're not able to rank for some more difficult terms which have semantic similarities or are short-tailed of that nature, right? And some of your competitors who have a higher DA, lots of backlinks and things of that nature are ranking for this particular term. So these are usually a little difficult to break because of the difficulty and just, the kind of effort that everybody else has put around that keyword and ranking for that keyword. Then there's a second set of keywords in that same range. And sometimes that range can extend even beyond and go into 50s and even hundreds. But those are the keywords which you can easily rank for because there's not good content out there. And that means that even if you're not like very closely or semantically related to the key term that you're targeting in another page, you are still ranking in somewhat position where even though you don't have good content around. And those are the kind of keywords that you can capitalize on and write more content around and rank much, much, much faster than some of the other ones, right? So periodically, you want to do something where you focus on the niche that you're going after and collect new ideas out of it, right? And that's what the screen allows you to do, and also dig into your data and see which positions and how you're ranking and what the distribution look like. Okay, now I have this data. I know like I have 11 to 20. So what I can do now is I want to filter these search terms. And I want to filter them, let's say, for something that matters very greatly to me, is like for us is brief. Paint. Fly. Okay, so now you see, like I have a few keywords where it's related to content brief and there's just one URL. And you see that there's many different keywords that we rank for, some lost, right? Like some in a very good position. And this probably is a bad example because there's very few keywords. Let's refine this. And go for, let's say, on page. Okay, all right. So in this, I could find a lot, right? And some of this, I'm not sure why it's showing lost. Okay, for some reason, this data is not current and I need to refresh the data. But okay, so what you see is like, okay, even this is a bad example. Okay, all right. This is a very good example, actually. Okay, all right. So we see there's like there is 50 in one page. So 50 times 20, it's like almost 1,000 keywords that have optimization as common term that I'm ranking for on my website. So that means like I have a lot of content around that, probably different posts, and I'm ranking for them at various positions, right? Now, how can I use this data to come up with ideas that I can like super fast rank for? Google has already shown me some love, and if I just write some good content around it, I could rank for that term very easily. And mind though, sometimes these terms might not make sense at all. Sometimes they might already be overlapping with the content that you're actually written. So all of these things into consideration, you still need to analyze this set of keywords and group them to kind of know, right, that the pages that you have written qualify to rank for this 5 terms so that you don't end up writing new content around it. So your next step after this should be selecting all the keywords and clustering them. And when you cluster them, if you already have a project set up for clustering from before around optimization, you can use that. Or you can just create a new cluster and just group these keywords and analyze them all together to kind of find the ideas around what you can create new and what you might even want to optimize. Okay, until then, you don't know, like nobody knows which is an idea and which is not. You need to look at the SERP data, the current data of how this keywords are semantically related based on intent and all these other things, and top 3 or 4 pages ranking in the SERP common for some of this terms, right? Like, so that's the kind of analysis you want to run and gather the exact set of keywords that you can easily rank for and create content around. and create new content around without cannibalizing the old one. Okay, all right. So let's say you've done that. That's one of the use cases over here. You can also use this to kind of find out the positions and keywords for a particular URL. So let's go ahead and see this. There's different ways you can group them, right? And contains, apply, and I will remove this. Okay, so we can see that this URL itself ranks for like 20, 20 pages worth of keywords over here, right? Now, what we can do is we can analyze how many keywords we rank for after 10 or after 20. So we could say top from 20 to 100. This could be another set of specific keywords that you can analyze and curate ideas from, because everything before 20, you might have like very close intent to, and you could potentially rank in future, but that's still a hunch, right? So I would just take all of these keywords without this set of grouping and cluster them to find out new ideas that we can easily create content around. Okay, now let's go to clustering, and we will come back to this two things at the end. And nope, I forgot one thing on this particular page is pages. Okay, all right. So when you click on pages, these are the pages, the clicks, the traffic, the page rank data, and the amount of keyword that this page is ranked for, and what positions that this keywords are in, right? So you kind of have an idea, right? Okay, this one has a lot of yellow and not many green. It's something that I can definitely do, right? Like over here, like there are certain things that you can do to improve the page rank of this particular page and quickly get it to rank, right? Like, so you want to find those opportunities. Okay, I will get back to that that query from Bob. I'm trying to understand what he's trying to say. Okay, so I hope you guys can hear me okay. If you do, just say it once that you can hear me okay, and I will keep going. Sounds good. All right. So these are the keywords. These are the set of keywords that you rank for, and you can quickly see sort of all the information around keyword and how this page ranks for what keywords and what position of the extract from Google School, and sort of group to do a deeper analysis and understand how you can do certain things. Okay, let's close this out. And again, right, like if you want to do bulk clustering of a certain page, so you can say I want to cluster all writing related, like that contained URL, right? So let's contain writing, and there's no writing. And I'm probably wrong with this. Oh yeah, staging environment. Okay, all right. Yeah, something definitely off on staging over here. But what you can do is filter out all the URL that have writing in it, right? So there's tone of writing, there's examples of writing style, then there's writing jobs type career, error writing types, right? So what you are doing now is if you want to group a lot of keywords together and kind of run a massive analysis of all the URLs that have writing in it, right? Because now you will find keywords which are very entangled to each other, right? And Google is giving you positions for, even though you might not have good content for. So you can group all of this URL, then run a cluster again, or run a bigger cluster where we analyze all of these keywords together, and we can start grouping them and then creating new content around them. Okay, that is the use case for this particular page, is to understand what sort of positions you have on your keywords and your pages combined together, and whether you want to find new ideas from your existing data or not. Okay, now let's go to clustering. So like what happens in clustering, right? Whatever keyword that you selected in ranking keywords, like it'll form a cluster. It'll analyze all of those keywords and group them into similar things, right? Um, similar similar intent. That means that you can create one page and still rank for all of those keywords. So you want to group them into those. Now, before we get there, let's also understand how to create a new cluster. It's very straightforward. Analyze new set of keywords. You can either enter a focus area. So you could say, I want to cluster everything that has the content marketing in it. Or you could say everything that has iPhone 15 in it, right? And you can get all of those keywords using our API and build the cluster from that data. If you have SEMrush or Ahref, you use them, you can download a set of keywords, right? And it could be massive. So I think an Excel file allows either 75,000 or 25,000 rows in it. So let's say you exceed that row. I will show you how you can even add more keywords, even if you exceed those rows. So you can do that. And if you do this, then we will try and get as many keywords as we can using our API. But you don't want to rely on that, and you have your Ahrefs or SEMrush data or combined data from both. What you can do is you can upload the first file and create a cluster. And I will show you an example of this AI prompt cluster. Okay, all right. So you can cluster those together, right? Now, once the cluster is formed, it will load the page and something similar to this. And this is a massive amount of data. We're looking at almost 4,000 groups, 4,400 groups after analyzing the approximately 16,000 keywords of data. So now what you can do is, if you wanted to add more, you can just click on add more keywords and follow the same step. And this time you can input your SEMrush data, right? We'll not run the duplicates, so we'll remove them automatically. Even if you have duplicates in both of those, right? So you don't need to worry about all of that, but you can do that and add more keywords to that particular cluster. Let's go down, just give it a second. So now let's understand what this really means is that you haven't added any keywords out of this cluster into your, you have not added any of these keywords into your inventory. And as we go through this, reviewing these topics, we'll start adding them to our inventory. My existing coverage, because we've connected our Google Search Console, we know that we rank for some keywords out of this. So our existing coverage out of this set of keywords is approximately 269. And this is your sorting. Now, let's look at competition. Now, what competition is it's analyzing this set of keywords and kind of grouping people with the highest amount of ranking keywords in this entire analyzed cluster, right? So because you're trying to target this keyword, you want to have a very good understanding of who you are going to run into very often. And if this often guys are very big, then you want to try and find a strategy to avoid them where possible by choosing keywords that don't directly go after these guys, right? So that is the main fundamental behind showing you these competitors, is to have an understanding that these are the top guys. I want to try and avoid them as much as possible by going after keywords where there's fewer of these guys or none of these guys, right? That's the basic fundamental behind it. Now, let's look at this. This tells you that out of all the pages that I've analyzed, my average number of backlinks for top 3 positions is 70. Now, that's a lot of backlinks that you're going to need if you want to dominate this particular niche. Not saying it's not possible. You can still choose better keywords, and we'll go through that. But you are still competing in a very, very competitive niche, right? Then let's look at this 40, 45, and this is 31. So again, it's a steep climb, right? Like you are going to have to spend some off-page efforts in order to rank for some or many of these keywords. You will still be able to rank for some. So we'll see which keywords are easy for you to rank and which ones are difficult. So let's close this out. These are our groups. And now we can start looking at the biggest cluster that we found with 512 keywords, right? So you want to open this up. And it's telling you that this keyword's difficulty is moderate. And we'll see if we can identify an easier keyword to target in this particular group and add that. Okay, all right. So there are many keywords over here with easy, being easy. So how to start write a blog might not make sense, but how to start good blog post, how to write a blog example might not make sense at all, right? But you can find a set of one keyword out of this entire group that you want to go after and has green in it. Best probability to rank. So you're going to start seeing some more difficult ones as you go down. And these are more difficult because not only many competitors are present, but they're all in title. It's also a lot. They have a lot of backlinks as well. And so it's not qualifying all the checks to meet that easy level. And then there are difficult keywords. But you can see as you go down now, some of these keywords don't even have much of the ones which are easy, don't even have a lot of volume, right? So you have to find that right balance and pick the keyword that aligns with what you're trying to do, how to write a blog entry. Like, let's say I was trying to target that. And I can click this and this will become my primary topic. And now I am targeting the same cluster, but with a different keyword that I have better chances of ranking compared to some of the others, right? And when I do that, I will still write the same content. I will still write and optimize for all of these keywords, but my target would be to rank for this keyword first. And if you do that, if you're able to target this long tail keyword in that same group and easily rank for it, then you'll start building page authority faster. And as you build page authority, then you can slightly modify your title or some other things on your page to target some more competitive keyword from this particular group. But till then, your strategy should be to go after those easier ones. And this easy is adaptive of the competition, backlinks, and the amount of content we find on the web. So it doesn't really matter whether you are a new domain or an old domain. Sure, like you launched a domain yesterday, don't expect any good results, but a decent domain should have equal opportunity for ranking for this versus some of the more difficult ones. The more DA ones can rank faster, but you still have a shot of getting past this just because the competition is not dense, and we've identified that, and we know that some of these pages have very fewer backlinks and also very fewer all in title numbers as well. So it's a very deep analysis. And once you have that, right, like you have added this to the inventory, you can go through similarly all the clustered topics and find one primary keyword to add to inventory and then create content from there. So I just added one to the inventory, and our topic, our cluster name is AI prompts. So now, so I can go to content inventory, and we're still not going to create the document right away. We still want you to curate all the topics and then come over here and then start working with this, right? So you can now add this to create new document. And this will add how to write a blog entry. So we'll just write a topic around that so you guys can understand how to go through the entire workflow. Okay, I'll take a few questions. What makes a keyword I rank for so wrong when I can my site? It has me ranking much better. Damon, I'm trying to understand what you mean. If you can slightly rephrase that so I can understand better. But the whole agenda behind being able to rank for a keyword is you want to try and rank for keywords where the content is not great, where there is significant gaps, or your competition, some of them are there, but not all of them. So you can find those spots to fit in and provide some more value around that specific thing, but still target the whole the whole group of keywords that are ranking. Okay, all right. So now let's go to clustering again. And I will pick a small, shut that up, right? And so you can see this blue strips are the ones that you've added to the inventory. And like this ones have all been added to the inventory, and you can see that. You can also delete some groups that you have identified are not relevant, and just keep it concise. Or I don't like to delete anything because I know that I've tagged them into inventory. So if I just want to in future refer to it, then I would keep it as it is, right, and just click the ones that I want it in my inventory. And you can see the number of the topics, amount of topics in your inventory right now. Okay, all right. Now this is clustering. So again, you can cluster up to 100,000 keywords, no problem at all. For adding, keep adding keyword list as you go around and build it. So even when you're analyzing your website, you can add keywords to an existing cluster. And if there are any new clusters that are formed that you've not added to your inventory, would not have those blue streaks in it, right? Or wouldn't be in your inventory. So you can easily spot them and add them to your list. Okay, all right. Now let's go through the site audit and settings. I want to get started. I want to go to settings first before I jump to site audit, and I jump to improve internal linking, because this will change a lot of things and could help you save some credits if you are trying to do that, and ensure that you're only getting important things which are important to you. Okay, so this is our sitemap, right? And crawl interval, we have monthly or weekly. You can set it to weekly, no problem at all. Pages besides the ones in sitemap to crawl. So if you have a few more pages or a list of pages that you'd like to crawl, which are not on your sitemap, you can add those. Pages to exclude from crawling. If there are specific pages that you want to exclude, you can add those. So when we crawl when we are looking at your sitemap data, when we find these links, we'll just not consider them when we are looking at information on those pages. Okay, and these are exclude sections of your web page. To exclude, just add CSS and JavaScript ID. What I mean is, let's say you are in Outranking, and I will go to a CSS. And if I go all the way down to the site, right, and you will start seeing this related post. Now, many times this is not a contextual link. And so you might not want to consider this as part of your internal linking strategy, right? You just want to exclude this section and only find out links that are in the context of this, right? So what you can do is you can find the ID of this particular page, of the CSS class that surrounds this particular section, and you can add that. Similarly, you can add the header, you can add the footer. So when we're looking for internal linking and suggestions to potentially improve your page rank and suggest you internal links, we'll not look at this data and consider them to be internal link, right? There are certain smart ways to do this, but they're not 100%, and hence we already do majority of the lifting understanding this from the back end. But if you provide this, then we can give you suggestions which are much more specific and are worthwhile, right? Like you don't have to do the secondary work of weeding out some of this URL. So you can add that and then save the data. And once you save the data, we can start crawling. And what we can start looking at whether there's missing titles, missing duplicates, missing meta descriptions, right? Like you find duplicate description. Many times we publish pages as copies and we leave them out there. This is very easy to figure it out because it's not based on ranking, it's based on your sitemap and looking at those live URLs. This can give you a great idea if you have duplicate things like that. So pages with no internal links, this is something that I'm specifically interested in. This and pages with broken links, broken internal links. So like internal links, these are the things that you can easily improve. Just go to the page, and the ones that are not relevant, you can delete them and stuff like that. But these are some of the hard ones to solve, right? And pages with no internal link going out. And when I click on this, it shows me all the pages with no internal links going out. That no internal, this is pages with no incoming internal links. So that means that these pages are not getting any links from anywhere on the website, excluding those classes that I showed you in the settings, right? Now, this is great because now I have exact list of URLs that I need to go and give a link to. And I will show you how you can start doing that using internal link. Pages with images with no alt tags. So you can click here and it will show you the URLs which don't have alt tags. So you can go and add them. If there's something that you'd see here, like this LinkedIn URL that you'd like to exclude, you can just go ahead and exclude that as part of your settings data, your setting over here. Okay, pages with missing alt type, that's what it is. Pages with the missing H1 tag, and you might want to check this out, right? Like that could be some serious issues over here. Pages are not properly organized, or just orphan pages, like you don't care about them anymore, and you might want to do something about them. Then pages with no H2, that's pretty easy. Okay. Now let's go to improve internal linking real quick. And okay, all right. So in here, we're tracking positions every week, right? So every time you refresh the data, we'll track the positions and we'll show you this chart. So you kind of have an idea as to whether you are climbing up, climbing down, what's like the overall structure of your internal links. And this is getting a huge lift is what I was trying to talk about. But you can see all the data over here. You can see current positions, right? And you can then improve the positions or internal linking by clicking on improve. But here, let's look at this quickly, right? And we see that this has a good amount of internal links coming in. This, not so much type of writers, and yet it is ranking at 3.5. What would I do with this page? Improve internal linking and improve the page rank. It only has 28 page ranks. So imagine if I was able to give it a couple of good links from some relevant pages and improve that. That would really get some juice going to this particular page and improve its improve its page rank, right? Okay, so similarly, you can take pretty much anything. So we'll click on this and improve. It'll take about a few seconds to improve, to come up with some suggestions. But let's go ahead and look at blogging for lawyers here. Okay, so now when you analyze it, it's going to show you tons of pages where you can potentially add a link. Okay, it's potentially add a link. So you still have to pick and choose and go about selecting the right URLs for this particular thing. So it's blogging for lawyers, and we've got some reference text around which you can place this particular URL. And if you wish to, you can rewrite this and create your own paragraph that you can paste it. Some major enhancements coming over here, but that's the basic thing that you'd want to go to this particular page and insert a link going to blogging to lawyers. And we're showing you the page rank data. So the higher the page rank is, if you are to get a link from that particular page, the more impact on your ranking you'd have. So if like I cannot put a link on product feature, but I can put a link in pet blogging and SEO for web designer. And probably a few of these as well, which don't really have page rank data, but they could, right, eventually. And hence, if you do that, then you are literally giving it the right signals. You're passing that juice from some of these pages onto blogging for lawyers and improving its page rank. Now, considering the silo and all of those things, right, like those are very great things in theory, but when it comes to putting this act into place, right, like many times your content is spread apart, different silos. and you might want to pass more authority to pages which are super important to you and are competitive in nature and brings you leads and things like that. So going to your high converting page is what you really want. And many times that's not going to work with strict silo structures and things like that. So, but what we do is based on this page rank data, as well as some semantic similarity between those two pages, we're recommending this. So you'll still get the best result going through these pages and selecting the ones that we are giving you over here. Okay, all right. So this is pretty much it for internal linking. Once you're done with the links, you can click on done or discard. And this will move away from this particular suggestion right now, but next week, if nothing's improved, if every week nothing is improving, right, we'll keep giving you recommendations for improving internal linking that go to the pages which don't have internal links. So let's look at this as well. And you can see that this page already has a pet blogging internal link. So it's telling me that it's done. So I can focus on the pages which don't really have. And you can see that SEO optimization, although I'm using pet blogging here, I have not given it a link, none over here. So it's ranking at position 2. It's going down. Maybe I might want to optimize it or give it a few internal links to improve its ranking. All right, like that's the basic fundamental behind this. Great. Okay, I'll take some key questions over here, and we might not have enough time to go through the writing today. I have a hard stop at 11:45, so we have 7 minutes. So I want to go through some questions over here using strategies. How would I build out a pillar and subpages single topic? So that's what I suggested. Like what you are saying, what you're talking about is silo structure. And when you're going through a silo structure, what it essentially just means is, let me, if this opens up, okay, all right. So this is, okay, so I've just opened up SEMrush, and let's say your pillar topic was AI SEO, or your main concept was AI SEO, right? When you collect this set of keywords and you group them in Outranking using clustering, right, will tell you, let's look at this, someone process here. What it will tell you is that which one is your biggest cluster, right? Like that's usually the most difficult term that you're going to be ranking for. And it's often also probably going to be the most converting, but don't take my word for it. Look at the keyword and understand if this is going to convert business for you. Surround your content around that. That should be ideal strategy. But let's say if you don't have anything like that, and like just look at this. This is what I was talking about when it comes to silo, right? Like why they're not picture perfect. Because here, you could revolve SEO tools, agencies, copywriters, enterprise, and everything around SEO strategy. Or you could also revolve it around SaaS SEO tools where you have strategy tools, we have tools for copywriter, you have tools for technical SEO, you have tools for enterprise. So you understand that this distribution can go any way, right? So you have to be the best judge and kind of pick the keyword where you want to circle this other topics around and circle the other topics around so that because they are easier to rank for. And once they start ranking, they'll pass page rank to the more difficult one, which is what you're really trying to rank, has higher volume or higher business impact. If that makes sense. So I would still circle them around like that, but it's you who's creating the strategy, the best person to kind of pinpoint which keyword is the most potential, has the most potential for your business outcome. How many pages should a site have before using strategists? Or you can start using strategists right now to start using your game plan. Like creating a game plan. If you have a set of 5,000, 10,000 keywords that you're trying to create content around, don't just pick keywords blindly. Cluster them and find out what is your easiest or most probable keyword that you can rank for out of this entire cluster and adjust your game around that. Like, look at this. Like, so I'm looking at this, like, so SEO for startup. and I see it's super easy for me to rank for, and there's no 5 guys right here. And they probably don't even have good content circling around that, right? Like all in title is less than 50. So I know that they don't have super optimized content around SEO for startups. And if I was to create content around them, I could rank for it. But there's still 4 guys out of 5 ranking in the top 5, and there could be a few more with higher domain authority in that top 10, right? So do I want to pick this keyword or not? It's really up to you. Like if you're a small site and you don't have a lot of pages on your website, then you might not want to pick this. But you're a decent size, you have a few pages that you can give internal links to this particular page, then you can totally go after this. So picking a keyword based on this is super important, so you're not wasting your time. And I think it doesn't really matter whether you're small or big. The only part you probably don't want to use is site audit because you don't have much content. But to create your inventory and to find keywords which you can easily rank for, you can absolutely use clustering and content inventory. Okay, all right. The software is better than for now. The software is much better now, for sure, much more concise and not keywords now. Okay, so you're commenting on the writing quality. Absolutely, the writing quality is better. You can make it better, even better by personalizing it. Um, uh, so you can reach out to support for that, and you can explain what your plan is. Maybe you can send them your registered email address, and they should be able to help you out with that. Mauricio, you might want to contact support chat or support@outranking.io. Would you need backlinks to subdomain the pages you created with keyword, or without the backlinks to the homepage suffice? It really depends on your goal you're trying to, but if you're trying to rank tons of content, you would need backlinks to subdomain as well. Google treats them differently in some ways and treats them similarly in some ways. So there's always conflicting ideas behind what ranks better. But if you have a subdomain, I would say you need to put in more efforts than your normal site to get it to rank. So if it doesn't have any authority at all, so you might want to consider that. You should open up your sitemap to include your subdomains, but it's horrible to rank in subdomains. Got it. Well, so that's on the roadmap to include multiple sitemaps in your strategist, and that is part of our update. Got it. Thinking out loud. I'm trying to understand, Patrick, your question. Thinking out loud, but when sites like social media posts, Quora, Reddit, and other forms and files appear in search for your keyword, it's worth closer investigating. And since outranking is already scraping SERPs, it could easy to point out these weaknesses. Is there a simple method to find these opportunities? You don't want to essentially go and see if Quora, well, yeah, it does suggest that you can easily probably rank for it, rank for that particular keyword if you are with some of the sites which are ranking for it. But you'd often pick this up in the way we have structured the data. Like either it will be picked up as not so many all in title. Quora and some of this page specific URLs will probably not have any backlinks because nobody's putting efforts into creating backlinks for that. It will also not be consistent. So Quora is not trying to establish niche in SEO for startups, right? Like that's not what they do. So they're not going to show up in most of the searches. So that kind of tells you again that this is a very good niche to go after. There's so many things that you can look at, right? Like it might not be possible to look at just Quora and social media sites because there might be thousands and many websites that fall into that category. And 5 is just top of the iceberg. But all right, guys, there's any more questions here? How do I turn off sources? And that's a very good question. So I will open up one of the topics and show you how you can turn it off for good. So open up your workflow panel and click on settings icon. And then in settings icon, you can turn off sources. So it will not print sources when it's producing the first draft. Sounds good. Any more questions, Eddie? You were looking for strategist. Brian, you were as well. We have some insane amount of automation coming around strategists, so stay tuned for that, and we'll share in the next couple of weeks around that. But some very insane things that you can do to automate some processes. You got it, guys. All right, so I am 2 minutes past my limit here, but it was great seeing everyone. If you have more questions, feel free to reach out to support or join our Facebook group and just put up a question over there. Happy to help in any way we can. And we'll see you guys next week. Till then, have a great weekend. This recording will be available in the probably next couple of hours on YouTube. Sounds good. All right. Thank you, guys, and have a wonderful weekend.